YouTube channel. It's Teresa, and we are now going to go through another routine of 5 products in 5 minutes. So we're gonna go through the smoky eye look. Who is ready to try a simple smoky eye with 5 products or less in 5 minutes? I know I look a little bit crazy right now. I have no eye makeup on and I have a full face of makeup without eyes, but just wait. We're gonna be on fleek with the eyes in a minute. So I wanna show you, or teach you also, and show you the science behind the eye. A quick and easy tip to figure out where to place your eyeshadow is to figure out what shape eye you have. I like to take a Q-tip to figure out the shape of my eye. I'm going to take this Q-tip and I'm gonna measure my eye, and then I'm gonna break the Q-tip to show how big my one eye is. So this is about the size of one of my eyes. I have what I would call a small eye shape, but if I take this Q-tip and I place it between my nose, between the two of my eyes on my nose, you can see that it fits, one eye fits equally in the space between my eyes and nose. So this gives me what's called a balanced eye. So if I could fit more than one eyeball between the space between my two eyes, so for example, I change the bend and I could fit more than one eye, an eye and a half maybe, this would make me a more wide set eye. If my eye was larger than the space between my eyes, this would make me a close set eye. My eyes are closer together. So placing color. If you have a balanced eye, you want to focus the color toward the outside of the eye, and then you can go like 3/4 of the way in into the crease. But if you have a close set eye, you need to draw the eyes apart. You focus the color outside on the outer corners of the eye. If you have a wide set eye and you're trying to bring the eyes together, you want to focus the dark color in here to bring the eyes together. So I have a balanced small eye. So we're going to focus color on the outer corner and go about 3/4 of the way into the crease. And we're going to do some things to widen the eye. Let's get started with the first step. The first step I like to do is I use concealer as my eyeshadow base. So I'm using the Clinique Line Smoothing Concealer in Light for my base. I'm using this with a concealer brush. So I just put some on the tip of my concealer brush, and then I place it all over my eye lightly. So just lightly putting concealer lash to brow to help my eyeshadow stay on better, but also my eyes have discoloration. So the discoloration in my eye is gonna be now evened out with the concealer. Don't forget to go into that inner corner too with that concealer, because that's gonna lighten and brighten that inner corner for you. We're gonna go back in that inner corner with some eyeshadow, but you can go in there with the concealer too. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is we're gonna get right into the nitty-gritty into our eyeshadow. So I'm gonna use an eyeshadow palette called Neutral Territory from Clinique. This palette has a wide range of shadows, from the light white that brightens that inner corner up that I'm gonna use later on, to like a really dark shade. So it gives you a lot of different eye looks that you can do with this palette. I like to start with the eye shader brush, this is called. So this is the eye shader brush. I'll just show you that a little bit closer. And the eye shader brush, I'm actually gonna use this taupey color right here, that third color over. I'm gonna use this shade on the tip of my brush, so I'm using the tip. I'm gonna tap some of the product off because you don't want it to flake everywhere. And actually, before we move forward, what I also like to do is when you bake and you put product all under your eye, I like to do that before I do my eyeshadow. So I'm going to put product, loose powder. So this is Clinique loose powder in transparency neutral. I'm gonna bake with this, but what it's also gonna do is it's gonna help catch any mess if I make a mess with the eyeshadow, and it'll clean it up much nicer at the end. So I'm gonna leave this while I do my eye look under my eyes. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our eye shader brush, and we went to that third color again. On the tip of our brush, tap the brush off some so you don't get too much product. You're gonna work right into your crease, but we're not gonna go all the way over, like 3/4 of the way over. The outer corner, and we're gonna go right to where we have the powder. And then you're gonna think of like a sideways V. And you're gonna go onto the lid with the eyeshadow too. So can you see how I have that? You're gonna keep, the more you wash back and forth with your brush, the more the color is gonna blend. So think of like a windshield wiper just to blend that nicely, and it's blending really beautifully into the concealer. I'm gonna use my eye shader brush now for the color that I'm gonna use all over my lid. So all over my lid, I'm gonna use this really pretty color, the second one over. It has like this rustic, bronzy beauty to it. It's just gorgeous. I'm gonna load up my eye shader brush. The first one was the eyeshadow brush. I like to tap my brushes so I get less flakage on my face. I'm gonna use this all over the eyelid. When you pat with your brush, where you pat, you get more pigment too. When you blend back and forth and you use like that windshield wiper stroke, it washes away some of the color. It blends more. So I'm actually taking this brush and I'm patting more so I get more pigment on my eyelid. I like to use a clean one of these for blending, the eye shader brush. So I'm gonna go right into the inner corner where I stopped, like 3/4 of the way, and I'm just gonna blend. I'm going back with my eyeshadow brush and just tightening up that corner. Now this is just the eye shader brush that I didn't put any product on, and I'm just softening it right along the brow. And I'm gonna take this vanilla-y third shade over from the light shades and just put a little bit of this along my brow with the eye shader brush. I use like the palm of my hand sometimes to take some product off my brush. Getting a little bit more of that vanilla-y color. And then I'm gonna go back. I just want more depth of color on my eyelid with this pretty coppery shade. So I'm tapping on my eyelid to get more of that color. I just want to lighten up along the brow again. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of my concealer and just go over top the eyeshadow just to lighten up the brow a little bit more. And I'm going right back over top of the eyeshadow because I think some of my crease color maybe went up a little to the brow just to brighten that up and lighten that up some. So the white shade I'm going to use in the inner corner of my eye. I'm just going to take my ring finger because it's the weakest finger. I'm warming it up on the palette to warm that product, and I'm going to put it in the inner corner of my eye. And then I'm going to take my other ring finger where I didn't have as much product on and just soften it. It's beautiful. Okay, so the last step is applying my eyeliner and mascara. So I'm gonna apply my favorite eyeliner, Intense Chocolate, and mascara, High Impact Mascara. They're both Clinique products, I love them. So High Impact Mascara and Intense Chocolate. Intense eyeliners come in many different shades. These are my favorite line of eyeliners. They don't smudge, they don't wear off, they're amazing. A tip to make your eyes look bigger is focus mascara on the outer part of your lashes. So if I focus extra mascara on the outer part of my lashes, it's gonna give the illusion of a bigger eye. And if you remember, one of my things was I have a smaller eye. So now I'm just gonna touch up, buff off my powder. And there you have it. A beautiful, simple, smoky eye with 5 products or less in 5 minutes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish my other eye and I'll be right back. Now that I finished both eyes, you can see my smoky eye with 5 products in 5 minutes. I know it took me a little bit longer to explain, but for real, like you can get this down in 5 minutes. I totally believe in you. So it's again, 5 products, 5 minutes, you got this. Also, I'll be sure to include all the products that I used in the description box below. Plus, check out my Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see my next 5 in 5 video. That completes another video from Teresa Von Regan. Thanks for watching, fam. Love you all.